Not cool, man. I don't steal your pets. Hey everybody, Max here, and today we're going to be taking a look at Cobra Commander in his combat armor. Very happy to have this one in the collection. This is another one of those figures that was in my top 10 list or top most wanted list when I got into the classified line a couple of years ago. Always loved the design of the armored Cobra Commander and loved his usage in the comic. I'm more of a comic continuity follower than I am the cartoon, but I do understand that they use this in, I think, the Deke cartoon. Never really watched much of that when it originally aired, so I don't really know much about that storyline, but we will go over the figure as we normally do and talk about it, and then we'll give him a rating. So we've got the carbon fiber box, obviously Cobra Commander with battle armor. Very cool artwork here on the side, number 168. And then a pretty cool diorama shot in the back here. Looks like he's in the Amazon. That seems to be kind of a motif going. I think Blowtorch had something going on similar, and then maybe a few others. I'm understanding that the iguana is Serpentor. That's probably a reference to an episode. And then he's got the "I was once a man" eyes in one of the armored helmets here. So he has human eyes and then the reptile eyes. So, and then there's a little bit more artwork on the side. So that is the package. Here is the figure. Let's bring him forward. He does not come with this stand, and I will explain why I have him on a stand. I could not get him into this position. I wanted I wanted this pose, but it won't really stay. So even with the stand, I'm having some trouble. So I'll talk about why. But like I said, he comes with "I was once a man." So he's got the two helmets, silver plastic, red paint for the logo. Just dropped it on the table. And then this is a separate piece, the hose. So, I mean, it doesn't detach, but it is not sculpted in like I think the original was. So I absolutely love the original O-ring figure. So this definitely recreates it quite well, I have to say. So that turned out very well. And I think this is black plastic with some silver, or maybe it's, no, maybe it's silver plastic with black paint. Why would they paint it the interior black? So there's with silver metallic or gold metallic plastic, there are often issues that I have with it, just personal preferences. Some people might not bother them, but I do not like the visible pore lines. You see a little bit on here, but and then we'll talk about it. There's definitely some on the figure. He comes with 5 hands, not 5 pairs of hands, but 5 hands. So he's got a fist and a trigger finger hand on right now, and then he has the, whoops, let me swap them around here. Right and left trigger finger, or left fist, right trigger finger, left trigger finger, right fist. I'll get it right. I know my right from left, but not always. I am safe to drive. And silver, black plastic with some silver paint. So pretty good detail there. And I think everything on this guy he would have to be practically brand new. So this is all new tooling. Even got a pointer finger, armored pointing finger. There we go. I'll talk pretty one day. He also comes with, like I said before, I think this is supposed to be a de-evolved Serpentor, but I'm going to call him Fancy Free and give him to my buddy Footloose and Fancy Free. So, and he's articulated, so he's got 4 points of articulation for the legs. So right there at the joints, at the so all 4 legs are, you can move them back and forth. And the paint turned out very well. The tail is not, it's just molded plastic. It doesn't have any, it's not bendy or anything like that, but it's a very well sculpted, well detailed iguana. So I think it's an iguana. Those of you who are reptile enthusiasts, let me know in the comments if I've got it right or wrong. I'd appreciate it. So yeah, So he's not Serpentor anymore. He is now fancy free. So here's the figure, and he comes with a blaster, which I quite like. I love how Cobra has these non-traditional weapons that look like they might possibly could, if they were built in real life, maybe could possibly actually fire. And so they look overly detailed and yet quite cool. And so this looks like a kind of a very, uh, I guess, optic of some sort, like a telescoping sight, and then looks some kind of, I don't know, looks like he's almost firing a rifle round out of this pistol thing. So it's really cool, and it definitely resembles the original firearm that he came with. So that's great. And I don't understand the backpack. I know I had the figure, but I don't understand this backpack. I think I might have rotated it around and treated it like a rocket pack or something. But you can do it either way. It really actually fits better this way. It makes more sense to do it like that. And maybe it's maybe it's a power supply or his respiration, that sort of thing. Or you can flip it around like this. I mean, yes, it kind of looks like it has wings, and so it looks fine. Yeah, you could say it's a rocket pack, perhaps. Let your imagination run wild, children. So I'm glad that it looks like the original. The only problem that I have, of course, as I mentioned before, is the metallic plastic that they used, and you can definitely see pore lines very, very prominently up the middle, and then around here, around these indentations, and it just kind of breaks up the sculpt. It just doesn't look right, and I wish they had painted it silver instead. Some figures, oh, looks like there's ports for blast effects. Didn't notice that before. It doesn't come with any blast effects, so I don't know. Maybe it is a rocket pack. Did he use this as a rocket pack in the cartoon? Let me know. But anyway, I think a paint wash would have been good. I think a good solid silver paint over the coat of paint over this would have made it look great, covered up the pore lines. There are black, they did paint black here and there for these different vents, but mine at least it just breaks up the sculpt right here and it just looks kind of broken. And this kind of plastic always feels softer to me. I don't know what the quality of it is or the chemistry, and it just doesn't feel as sturdy. So that's a bit of a downer. Does it look cool? Yeah, absolutely. I'll just leave it off right here, and let's just talk about the figure. Is the figure great? Oh yeah, yes, this is a great figure. Don't get me wrong. It has, other than just kind of in some places, some pore lines that you can tell, and it does have a lot of silver paint on it, and it's a very good sculpt. So the human-eyed head looks really good, and it's very similar to the reptile head, the COBRA CLAW head, I guess. And thankfully, there's no pore lines on the front. That would have really, really bugged me. I might have even returned it if that had happened, because I wanted the helmet to look completely unblemished if possible. Doesn't have an ab crunch, has a diaphragm cut, and there's a little bit of a wobble, as a lot of diaphragm cuts tend to have, but it's pretty good swivel, and that's great. And then he turns at the waist as well. So I just kind of wanted to talk about that, get that out of the way. There is hardly any neck movement at all. I'm going to just go ahead and take the head off and show you that the ball joint, there's practically nothing. So I will most likely cut out some extra material to get something. And there is some back and forth on the neck pivot or the neck joint, but there is practically no, you can tell. I'll put the head back on and show you, but there's no forward or back bend hardly at all, almost completely stationary. Now, in the comic, the armor is worn initially by one of the Freds, one of the Crimson Guardsmen, and I sometimes take Kamakura's unmasked head and use him as a stand-in, because we have not gotten a Fred unmasked Crimson Guardsman head, and I think he looks just fine. Now, this ball joint, I may need to find or if you want to do it this way, a longer ball peg, because if you press this down so that it actually engages, he looks like he has no neck. It doesn't look, he looks like he's kind of shrugging his shoulders a little bit. So there's that. So I think a longer ball peg or changing out the armored neck piece might work just fine. If you have something, there's a different neck piece that's black perhaps, or so you can just rest it on there and it looks just fine. It's just not seated. So just keep that in mind. That's an option for you. I do hope someday we do get a Fred head, and there he is back again. So like I said, hardly any. I mean, good side to side, but hardly any head bobble forward or back. He bends forward about that far, back about that far. Like I said, there's a little bit of a wobble. The shoulder armor is attached inside the arm joint. Hopefully you can see that. So going all the way around is a little bit of a problem. So you can do it. There is a butterfly joint on both arms, and it's decent. Not too bad. Let's get the T-pose going. Pretty good there. Like I said, a little bit of a wobble. He's wobbling. I may have to take this apart and Mod Podge him in there a little bit, that kind of, or maybe use some handy tack or something to kind of shore him up a little bit, but it is what it is. So bicep swivel goes all the way around, and he has double jointed pinless elbows, and he can bend back that far. And has wrist hinge like we normally are used to, and this is a vertical on the fists, and no, sorry, I keep getting that wrong. Horizontal on the fists and vertical on the trigger finger hands. You can't quite see it and can't quite use it very well, but it is there. There looks like the plastic is black on the arms with some silver paint, and there's already some silver scuffing on mine. The black is kind of showing through some. And I've seen some pictures of, I think it was the knee pads, the silver paint was rubbing off. I guess we could jokingly say that it's battle damage, but a brand new figure, I can see how people would be annoyed with the paint rubbing off right off the bat. There's also some scuffing on the back. It came like this, so, but it is in the back, and the backpack would cover it, so it is what it is. Pretty good. Red, silver, blue, black. The sculpting is really good. My friend Adam over on Shark Eyes Toy Review, I asked him if this hose was sculpted or attached, like glued on, and thankfully it is sculpted, it looks like. And yep, because the TELE-VIPER had a glued on hose that the first one I got actually detached fairly quickly, so I was concerned about that, and I was concerned about the diaphragm hitting this thing. So, but knowing that it is not glued on, I'm glad to know that it's not going to just pop off at any random time. So, silver, blue, red holster, diaper piece is new. Pretty cool Cobra logo there. The paint is fairly tight. It might be rubbing through in a couple of places, but it is fairly tight, like say on the underarms. That's an area that they could have skimped. The gauntlets, kind of there's some overspray here and there. Silver just seems to be kind of a problematic color unless it's just like completely silver. Being precise with silver just seems to be difficult, but maybe it's just because it's so shiny. I don't know. But there we go. Drop down hips. And I do like the holster. While it's attached to, this is not, yeah, this is a belt. So but it's fairly well secured. It fits very snugly. It's not floating around very badly. And I'm glad to hear that. And it's not like a drop leg. It's not tied down or anything like that. So that's good. I'm glad there's some flexibility there. Drop down hips, as I said, kicks up. There is a thigh cut hidden by the armor. And the right one is a little on the stiff side, but he kicks up about that far, a little bit past 90 degrees. Not bad for an armored fella. And this is where we start getting into noticing more of the pore lines, like right there. At least that's what I'm assuming they are. They're matching, so I'm not sure. But like I said, you could jokingly refer to it as battle damage. And I'm guessing this is black paint here. It's kind of hard to tell what color the plastic really is. So I'm assuming it's the silver color with black paint all the way around. So, and I'm guessing the knee joint is probably black, and then the front, yeah, so the knee pad is silver. So yeah, they had to get creative with all of the different colors and different types of plastic and everything. So like I said, there's the thigh swivel. Kicks back pretty far, like that. And then we get some more pore lines on the shins. And you could tell that they were there even from the promo shots, and that was something that I was concerned about. Does it detract a little bit? A little bit. Like I said, it's just kind of one of those aesthetic issues that that bug me a little bit. So I'm sure everybody has their own, things that they like, things that they don't like, things they want to see, things they don't want to see. But in terms of sculpting, the legs are really good. I think they really capture the original figure quite well. And I was surprised to see that it does have I didn't think it was going to have a boot swivel. I couldn't tell from the promo shots, but right here, down here at the bottom, is a ankle swivel, which is, I've got to give them props for adding that. They didn't have to. After Blowtorch and the TELE-VIPER, I wasn't expecting it. And after seeing this, it makes me think there was no excuse for them not giving us a ankle swivel for Blowtorch and the TELE-VIPER. That was a definite miss there. So my biggest gripe is the looseness of the ankle pivot here. So part of the reason why I'm using the stand to kind of get the pose is that it moves so easily that he can't quite on his feet. He will, any kind of dynamic posing, you're probably going to need a stand, and just be prepared for that. And maybe it's just my figure, I don't know. But he points down pretty far, I have to say, and then only about so far. So back or down, pretty good, and very loose ankle rocker. So, but like I said, I was impressed and surprised by the shin, or not shin, but the ankle swivel. So yeah, and then we have some more pore lines on the ankle there, and that does bother me. So my biggest gripe is the feet and probably the shin, the legs and the pore lines there, because I just don't like them. So anyway, but that is Armored Cobra Commander. Let me know what you think in the comments section. Does yours have the same issues that mine is having? Is this have you been on the fence? I got mine surprisingly faster from Amazon than BBTS, and I was expecting BBTS to ship out faster, but I got it from Amazon a lot faster. So just the other day, at the time of this recording, I got this. This is Labor Day 2025, and I got it the day before, so the last day of August. So was surprised by that. So, but yeah, there he is. I really quite like him. I'm going to give him a warp factor of 8.5. I think he could be better if the ankles were better, and the diaphragm was a little better, and if they had just gone all out and just painted over all of the pore lines, it would have been pristine and perfect in my opinion. And I don't think I talked about this, but the shoulder armor does not seem to have any kind of pore lines except, well, maybe right there. So, but yeah, I like it quite a bit. Am I bummed out? Am I perfectionist sometimes? Not really bummed out, but it is what it is. Just pointing out what I'm seeing. Maybe you'll see different things. Maybe you won't have the same issues that I'm having, but I think warp factor of 8.5 is honest and fair for this particular figure. Let me know what you think in the comments section, and I'll talk to you guys next time.